Alright, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Tooth and Tail Championship Season 1 2024. I'm Delphius, and very excited for our match here today. We've got Arilou versus Mishi, best of 7. But before we chat too much about that, let me get Kerpa on the line here. He's going to co-cast this with me today. And we should have Kerpa live now. What's going on, Kerpa?
Hello, hello.
I'm really excited for this one. Arilou versus Mishi. I mean,
Oh
come on, does
yeah.
it get much better than this?
Oh, it's crazy. Like those games are gonna be very, very good. I'm super excited.
Yeah, and it's a best of 7 as well, which is super nice. And we're no longer in kind of that, like, gearing, somebody kind of getting a first crown. Both these players have won Premier Divisions before, and the winner here today will face off against Melvin Fro in the Grand Finals once we get that lined up. So, really excited. It's been a minute, so I am thanking everybody for their patience on this. It's just, we got to line these things up. I think Arilou and Mishi just kind of had a little bit of a tough time finding, a couple hours where they could play that met their schedule. But they got it done, man, and we're here now, so it's going to be a fun Sunday.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see these games. Don't forget to share your screen because I need to see those games so I can see what's happening as well. Because Twitch has a little bit of delay. But
Yeah,
yeah, as you said
that'll
before,
probably
like
help for you.
these players, like they're both deserving of where they are right now, and let's see what they're gonna bring to the table.
I was a little bit worried about Mishi in the group stage. He lost a couple maps. I was kind of curious if, I think it was Scav, if my memory serves me correct, but we had some other kind of stone cold killers that you wouldn't expect in our group, and it was a tough group A, but Mishi was able to make it out, and here he is in the semifinals. So it's been a minute. Last thing we did, for at least that I did, as far as multiplayer Tooth and Tail, of course, was the 2v2's Bizarre Tournaments. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm about to upload that VOD as well. We did that a couple weekends ago. But going back to the 1v1 meta, like, what are we expecting to see here today? Do you think it's going to be... Arilou, in my mind, has always kind of been like that tier 2 driven dude. He loves his cams and his moles and those kind of mid-game pushes. And Mishi's just kind of a wild card. Mishi, like,
Yeah,
uses his big PhD brain, dissects the meta, and wins somehow with, like, ferrets or something. So,
yeah, it's really nice to see Mishi play because he can make anything work. He's a very well-round player, very diverse deck choices, which is really nice to see. So yeah, I'm excited to see those matches.
alright, well, let me know how the levels are in chat. We did a little bit of sound testing before the stream, but yeah, just let me know if anybody needs to be adjusted. But I think we're ready to get into this. Game number 1, it's not going to be a crazy long stream today. Hopefully we get 7 games. That'd be nice. But yeah, let's see what happens. I think we're going to get a lot of scrappy games. I think that the late game on this current patch, or on the balance patch that the tournament is on, kind of gets to those big tier 3 death balls, with Badger, Owl, Wolf, that sort of thing. So I wonder if we're going to get there. Let's find out. Are you ready to hop into match number 1 here?
Let's do it.
All right. I almost did my countdown. I'm so used to doing that, but you're just watching me on Discord, so even easier. On the right, we've got Mishi. See, this is what I'm talking about with barbed wire. And on the left, we've got Arilou. First time I've seen barbed wire all season, Kerpa.
Very true. I've been a fan of barbed wire. Honestly, this current patch I think it's a pretty well balanced all around. So
Yeah.
lots of options.
Well, this map does not look super balanced, unfortunately, for Arilou. Now, to be fair, he does have that natural base, which is looking pretty good, but, this double high ground is actually pretty threatening for both sides, in my opinion, because when Mishi expands, his natural is going to be threatened by that as well, but actually seems like a really good map if, Mishi takes one of these forward bases, throws down some barbed wire. I mean, this is a nice choke to clog up with some wire here.
100%. Yeah, Mishi has a lot of opportunities to just choke Arilou into this little point over there because he has a lot of options for mills. So there's 4 or 5 mills on his side, so we'll see what he does.
Yeah, and honestly, 2 mills are enough. I wouldn't read too much about the fact that, all the mills are on Mishi's side of the map. Like, most games, especially at high levels, are 2 mill matches now. I think both of these players, though, are perfectly happy with going straight up to 16 farms on the natural. I would say Arilou a little bit less than Mishi, but Mishi can play a scrappy game, but if you let Mishi dictate the pace of things, he's just going to go right up to 16.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah.
So some lizards coming out from Arilou. Actually, you know, I'm really excited for Arilou's comp. I think Squizzard is a little bit underutilized. I've always personally enjoyed the playstyle of Squizzard. I love the idea of like just making like 6 lizards or something, and that way, you know, you kind of run around the map, be active, but if you lose them, not the biggest deal. Yeah, Arilou trying to poke in here, but Mishi's in position, not going to get any bacon today.
Yeah, and Mishi being very greedy already with an expansion.
Yeah, did Mishi see... Okay, Mishi has not seen Arilou take an expansion, so yeah, you're definitely right. You know, expansion plus 2 farms, and you know you're against Arilou, who likes to be aggressive. Look.
Yeah.
Now, Arilou didn't get the punish. That was actually really good defense from Mishi, so Arilou is just going to have to come back and build his own farms and keep the game going. Now we're getting into some proper Squizzard versus Squirrel action, so Barbar is going to help a lot, but on paper, I like the composition better for Arilou for now.
Yeah, and Mishi just going very aggressive on those farms, and Arilou just sees it. Probably is gonna match right now.
Do you think that's the purpose of the wire? Is just to help Mishi be greedy to get up to 16? It's actually not a bad idea.
Probably, because it's a little nice choke point over there, and he knows it has a lizard, so...
Yeah, and wire is almost like... It costs like what? Like $5? Like, it's super negligible.
Yeah, either it's 5 or 10. It's
very, very low.
See, like, just showed why the wire is there.
Yep. Well, there we go. Mishi got to his 16. Now, Arilou doesn't have to overreact to this. He can just come home, get his own 16. That's exactly what he's going to do. So, now the big questions come out of where do we go from here.
And there's your answer.
Yeah, there's the Badger immediately, so... Uh-oh, this could be devastating, though. Mishi is out and about scouting as Arilou comes in, and definitely going to get some picks here. Great.
Lost, what, 2 lizards for that? That's pretty good.
Yeah, 1 or 2 lizards go down. That's it. And he got 2 pigs, so...
And Arilou didn't see the tier 3, correct?
Oh, yeah, that's a good observation. He has not seen the tier 3 yet, but he's just going to go ahead and build his own wolf, so... I feel like the Badger... Like, I'd rather have the Badger at this point in the game. I don't know, if Arilou... There he goes. Now he definitely sees it. But at the same time, I mean... If Arilou gets that mass of Falcons, like, at the end of the day, let's all be real. It's going to become a Falcon war, right? You know, if we go hyper late game. And Wolf Buff Falcons versus non-Wolf Buff Falcons, I mean... You know, they'll burst that Badger down super fast.
Yeah, if you get that initial burst of the Falcons exactly where you want, it's devastating.
So we are going to a tier 3 match here, and yeah, Arilou does have this west side, which is pretty nice. I mean, it's kind of awkward to defend, but as long as Arilou can kind of keep the map control, you can see where the lizards are. That's actually a really great spot to point at for the point I'm making is like, as long as Arilou can maintain this area, like, it doesn't matter that his third base is a little bit out of the way. That's a lot of tier 1 from Mishi, though. Oh, this is interesting. Mishi's basically just got the Badger plus a million tier 1. Well, Arilou's trying to transition to a lot of tier 2. But right when Mishi moves out, Arilou is back here. And Mishi's going to commit, so he's going to lose a lot of pigs, but he's got to make it worth it.
Oh man, it's going to be a base race.
The Badger is on the way over. Oh, this is really good timing for Mishi. That's a tough decision to make, to say, I'm going to sacrifice, you know, a lot of economy to keep this push rolling. Will he break through is the question. 2 stacks
the snake tags.
3 stacks. That's a dead Badger for sure, so you need to get as much value out of it as you can. Well, will the pigeons actually heal it? Actually, you know what? The pigeons will heal through it, yeah.
Yeah. But now we have the wolf.
The wolf has made it, so both sides taking some punches. The farms that Mishi killed were kind of on their way out anyways, so... But I think Mishi is taking the better fights for now. Let's see, Arilou really trying to keep him off the second base.
Arilou defend this.
Okay, now that's a dead Badger.
That's a dead Badger.
But can Mishi get the wolf in return? Doesn't look like it. Does get a lot of damage, though. We actually might get a scrappy game here. It doesn't look like Mishi's just going to straight up kill Arilou, right? So now we're in a position where both sides have taken a lot of damage, have traded armies kind of awkwardly, and yeah, actually Arilou's getting a lot of momentum. Mishi kind of overstayed his welcome here. And Arilou might just end this off the clapback.
Yeah, this is probably Arilou's game right now.
Yeah, Mishi knew it. Taps out. And GG, Arilou gonna take game 1. I think it was really close, but you know, that's wild how fast the tides can turn in Tooth and Tail, right? Like, Mishi was on top of it, and then all of a sudden, you know, he stayed a little bit too long. Arilou rebuilt just a couple too many units and was able to counter push.
Yeah, the attack timing was great, but Arilou with a great defense, and yeah, that's just high-level players for you.
All right, match number 1 goes to Arilou. Let me update the scoreboard here, and let's hop right into the next match. Are we going to go to Tier 3 every game is my question. Well, Mishi does change things up. Going to grab his own wolf, and meanwhile, Arilou getting the moles this time around rather than the lizards. Probably a counterplay to the wire. So the wire was taken again from Mishi, so I wonder if that's kind of Mishi's secret sauce for this series.
Yeah. I wonder if Mishi's gonna switch his deck every single game, or maybe he wins a game and keep the same deck. We'll see.
Kind of interesting that Mishi decided to keep the pigeons without the badger. Now, the pigeons can still be good, like a big push with skunks or something like that, but generally they really, you know, pair up with the badger. Here we go, little mole rush. Mishi's gonna sell just in time. Kill the mole. Kind of a weird situation, right, where it's like, oh,
look at that.
Arilou mess that up, or did he actually mean
No, you can burrow back to the moles, and I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, he's actually gonna use that feature that we haven't seen anyone use. There it is.
There you go.
Amazing. That's how it's supposed to be done. All right, the mole was getting supply blocked by queued farms, so Arilou bluffing a little bit there. But that's fun. That was just kind of making Mishi cool sweat a little bit. So,
and just to point out as well, the previous game, Mishi had 15 pigeons, and I don't know how much is too much in terms of pigeons.
Yeah, that's a good observation. I mean, against the snakes, it kind of makes sense, but you're right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a big badger player, but I think 9 is probably about what you want. I mean, I guess it's different if you really scale into like the hyper late game. But yeah, you're right. I mean, maybe just a few more units on the ground, because it was very swingy. You know, like Mishu just had him until he didn't anymore, and it just happened so fast. So maybe some other units that actually had guns could have helped. But some quick cams coming out of Arilou. This is what I like to see. I think Arilou's one of the better players at like early cam mole style pushes. Gonna come in here and see exactly what Mishi's up to. And Mishi has scouted the expansion from Arilou as well. So curious how much Arilou is going to try to punish Mishi's greed, or at least play in such a way where Mishi can't just go right up to 16. Or are we just going to do the handshake and both players go up to 16, which is what it's starting to look like.
Yeah, well, we'll see the campfire over there, and it's very convenient for Mishi, because then Arilou cannot really get an early aggression on this base. But here comes the cams.
Yeah, one cam sneaking around. One cam's not so threatening. You really want the pair. That helps like really kill a pig so fast you don't really have time to respond if things aren't in the right position. So yeah, it looks like we are going to 16 farms again. It honestly makes sense, especially at high level, because it's like it's pretty mathed out by really strong players like this how to defend rushes, you know, and it's just such a gamble to like actually try to commit to an early game push, because it just really sinks when, you know, they hold it off and then now they're ahead, right? So a lot of times we do see in like high level play, you know, generally the big push comes a few minutes later once everyone has a really strong economy.
Pretty much, and it always amazes me how they can expand so quick and not get punished. Because when I do it, I just die.
Yeah, 100%. So wolf down for both players. That seems to be the theme here. Get to 16 farms, throw it down to that tier 3. It hasn't been scouted yet from either side, though, so trying to keep an eye on vision. Mishi gets the scout off right here. And Arilou takes a forward mill. Interesting. Gonna take this one, actually. And gonna do a little sneaky route scout. Let's see if they see the tier 3. They do. So both players know exactly what's going on. Arilou trying to take that third base in a little bit of a counterintuitive spot. Kind of makes sense because both of these third bases are just like so right on the front line you really, don't want that to be where these huge armies are going to clash, because since mills start with low HP, gain HP over time, really, really big armies can just, like, focus that down in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and Mishi's Wolf is already being built. Is it still a 45-second build time for the tier 3?
I think on this patch it's 50, but I could be wrong.
50, okay.
I think it's a little slower. It might even be slower than that. It might be like 55. It always changes between like 45, 50, 55, man. I never remember.
Yeah, me neither. Someone in the chat help us.
Yeah,
but,
if anybody knows, keep in mind this is that balance patch. But the balance patch should go live, I would say, here soon. I mean, Illuminatus is just using us as his guinea pigs. Like, he made the balance patch.
Right.
He's gonna probably post it after reviewing how the tournament went. And personally, I think the patch is in good shape. I kind of agree with you. A lot of things seem viable. I think Wolf seems strong, Falcon seems strong, but I mean that's just kind of the nature of the game, right? They're just strong units.
Exactly.
So.
But nothing is completely broken,
Yeah.
which is great. So.
I think personally, whatever we can do to dissuade deathball games is probably the most healthy or most fun thing for the meta. But at the same time, it can be cool when like the deathballs clash into each other and then, everyone's not dead yet and now we're kind of scrappy again. So 8 cams from Arilou, which is absolutely wild. Arilou hasn't really noticed the skunks for Mishi, though. I feel like if he did, you could almost just completely drop squirrels and moles, right? And just be a cam Falcon
here
army.
come the stumps.
So Mishi gonna do his best ferret impression with these skunks and try to get some damage. Almost got a pig there. Ooh.
Arilou just going around.
I think Arilou's kind of getting the better position. He's gonna move in, avoiding the barbed wire, but I think all this gas is gonna be so good, but it's really gonna come down to all the Falcons in the air. And oh my gosh, Arilou's stomping through. Cams are just so strong once they get on top of enemy units, and that Cam Falcon just absolutely hammered.
1 HP Cam.
Man. Yeah, the Cam's just providing a lot more instantaneous burst. Like, the Cam Falcon army is just so bursty, and Mishi's just going to have to tap this one out, and all of a sudden it's 2-0 for Arilou, but...
Wow, yeah.
I would say...
Those Cams did a lot of work.
Yeah, those Cams absolutely nailed it. And what's crazy, too, is, like, once the Tier 1 is gone, nothing's there to contest the Falcons anymore, But I'm not worried about Mishi. If there's one person who doesn't get phased in series, it's definitely Mishi. He can easily come back from 0-3, so...
Oh yeah, 100%.
Let's pop.
It's like, okay, that's how I lost. Okay, we'll try something different now.
Yep, so Arilou winning that one off a nice push. Pretty smart about the angle of attack there. And let's hop into the next one. On this time around, Mishi's kind of scratching his head. He's got the boar. And over on the top left, we've got Arilou. Really like this map at first glance. Love the rainy, kind of marshy look to it. And it's actually, like, very, very balanced. Really cool map. But both sides have, like, 3 mills on their little side of the creek, Probably actually better for Arilou than for Mishi, I think, because imagine Arilou's kind of got his army on this double high ground, and Mishi's got to walk through the swamp to engage it. But yeah, let's see this one. I don't know, those cams, I mean, just really wrecked through Mishi's army. That wasn't even close.
Yeah, and one thing that I wonder is that, well, Arilou keeps the same deck pretty much every time. So you have the Cams and you have the Falcons. I wonder how much the barbed wire is viable, because you can just either fly through it or you can just punch through it with the Cams.
Yeah, if I was a betting man, I would almost always assume Arilou's gonna have Cams, And so barbed wire gets a lot stronger when it's like, well, and I've been in games like that, and it's so frustrating. Like, even if you have skunks and pigeons or something, if you don't have any units that can actually hit the barbed wire, which there's only 2, it's only Cams and moles, then trying to get through barbed wire is just a nightmare. So Arilou actually gonna punish Mishi for this, but it'll be okay, actually. Squirrel gets up in time. This is a little bit of a of a fumble from Arilou. He did stop the mole from getting produced via a queued farm, which is nice. But I think Arilou didn't see the Warren, because you do that move, if an opponent goes 8 farm mill, you can build a mole and just deny it. But if they built a Warren first, then you can't really get away with it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, did Arilou catch that cell on those farms? I wonder.
Does it? Yeah, it looks like he was aware.
Yeah.
So lots of wire coming down from Mishi. And I'm curious, like, yeah, I mean, what's the plan here? Like, it'd be one thing if Mishi had some ferrets, you know, to help abuse the wire. Now he's selling all this wire back. So he's really trying to mind game.
I think it's just maybe in an early game, hey, I'm going to be very greedy. You don't have any tier 2, so I can protect myself with some cheap stuff and be greedy.
Yeah. But Arilou has not really been opposed to being greedy with him, you know? And then all of a sudden, like, you're both greedy, but I built wire. Well, maybe not this time around, as Arilou is moving out. However, Mishi has a similar amount of units, but this influx of moles, plus Mishi's just not going to see this. Maybe Mishi sees Mishi sees the squirrels moving out. But only 3 Warrens here. Not going to have very many to defend. Really needs to be careful keeping these squirrels alive. And let's see how much the wire helps. This is kind of the point of the wire, like you were saying. It looks like Arilou is crashing through. Mishi just did not have... If Mishi had, like, two more Warrens, 2 more Squirrel Warrens, I think he would have been okay. Now, he might still hold this and not die, which is actually fine for Mishi. That this, you know, Arilou's economy is not insane. So, overall, I think Mishi's okay from this position. Gets the board out.
Mishi's fine, but some economic damage, but I don't think it's game-ending damage.
So the board goes down, gets spotted immediately by Arilou, and then Arilou also just happened to build some snakes before he went on that scout, so he's got to be happy about that. Alright, Arilou is just going to try to hit again before the boar is here. And Mishi really, now he's building some more Warrens, but doesn't have a lot of boots on the ground. Let's see. Yeah, just has to inundate this position with wire.
Well, the wire's not going to be up in time.
Only a couple moles here, though. So if those moles go down, there isn't a lot of moles that can just break through this wire. But Mishi's losing a lot of squirrels here. Oh, Arilou's commander might go down, and he does, so that helps Mishi out a decent amount here. The board did get paid for, but economic damage is happening. You know, Mishi cleans this up, but is definitely taking a black eye from this one. Snake even gets to slither away back home.
Yeah, the good thing for Mishi now, the boar has been paid for before the engagement, so that helps a lot.
Third base for Arilou here, coming up. And nope, okay, Pigeon's on the way now. I mean, Mishi knows about the snakes. Really a lot of buying and selling wire. I wonder if he keeps all the wire around the second base just to prevent a counterattack. But that is a good amount of money in wire. 110, I guess it's not...
110,
yeah. Alright, how fast will this boar get snaked upon is the question. So far, so good. Mishi knows the snakes are just going to get it, doesn't care, just going to bring it in. Mishi needs to get that second base. Well, actually, you know what? The boar doesn't have any poison on it. Is this boar actually going to go back home? Now the Falcons are going to clean it up.
Nah.
So that attack was not as fruitful as Mishi probably hoped it would be. Yeah, and Mishi gonna tap down 0-3.
Okay. I think Mishi just needed a little bit more tier 1 support to get that done.
Mishi, you gotta give up on the wire, man. I don't know if I'm a wire believer. We'll see. We'll see. Let's get into game number 4. people in the chat, give Mishi your energy if you don't want us to end the stream here in a few minutes. Because here we go. Mishi, instead of Wire this time around, gonna take the turret and the Badger. And over in the bottom right, Arilou on a hot streak here. Same deck every game, right? Except for the first match, he had Lizards instead of Moles.
Yeah, and a more conservative deck for Mishi now, because he is on a match point then.
Yeah. And I think if you're... Like, Mishi has had Pigeons every time, and it's like, if you're gonna have Pigeons, like, really, the Badger's the one that you want. Pretty small map, actually, for rush distance-wise. Territory's pretty close to touching. There's also a little bit of road. So this could be an aggressive game.
If you look at Mishi's side of the map, kind of a awkward, natural expansion for him.
Yeah, it's sitting like right out there in the middle of the fight. And yeah, you're right. Airloo's is a little bit more tucked away. But Mishi could take this base as well. A little bit more awkward to get to, but that's kind of true for both sides. If only there's like a little bit of a ramp right here or something, or this rock wasn't in the way. So it looks like Mishi has scouted that. I would be very surprised. Well, I tell you what, though. Mishi does have turrets.
Oh, yeah.
And is that enough reason to want to take this forward base? And then kind of utilize that more reach of your territory to put some threatening MGs down on the board.
Yeah, and Arilou already with the cams.
Yeah, quick cams from Arilou makes sense. It's a short rush distance map, so you get out a couple cams, you know, especially if Mishi's trying to expand, you build some moles. Arilou does take a second base. And yeah, Mishi does decide to take this forward mill here.
The first tier 2 we're seeing for Mishi will be the Falcons.
The classic Falcon vs. Cam situation. Where on paper you think the Falcons will win, but a lot of times in actuality, the Cams can get on there and kill those enemy squirrels so fast that your own squirrels can take out the enemy Falcons. But we'll see how that ends up. I think it could definitely go either way. This is what I was kind of expecting from Arilou. That was a bait mill, and he took the campfire instead. Really smart if you're going to play one base mode.
Yeah.
You know, grabbing that campfire is really cost efficient. And now Arilou's got his 2 cams. He's going to build some moles and kind of shoulder check Mishi here. Let's see how committed he wants to be to this attack.
Mishi puts down a turret over there, but I would also be concerned about the other side of the map. So we'll see how that one pays off.
Yeah, Mishi doesn't want to put these turrets right far forward, but Arilou, to your point, is going to try to take the angle without the turret. And Mishi's army kind of gets caught in the crossfires before the proper engagement starts. Arilou makes short work of that mill, picks up some free units, and backs off for now. This is not looking good for Mishi. But the Falcons are here, and only the squirrels from Arilou can shoot up, so a lot of money in units from Arilou that are ground-to-ground only.
I think the moles from Arilou are going to do a lot of work down here.
Alright, one turret remains, but it is right here in the front, and to your point, these moles can pretty easily just get on top of this turret. It's dealing a lot of damage. Mishi trying to pull the Falcons back, but it looks like Mishi is getting ran over here by this cam mole push, and I think Arilou is going to be our second grand finalist. Nothing really left here for Mishi. There it is, GG.
GG indeed.
Congratulations to Arilou, who will face off against Melvin Fro in the grand finals. Some quick matches here, Kirpa.
Oh yeah, I mean it is what it is.
Yeah.
Played really well. So yeah, here we go. I'm excited to see those grand finals as well.
So we need to kind of touch base with the tournament organizer. I don't want to give any promises. I'd like to do it sooner rather than later. We need to check in with Melvin Fro and Arilou, see when they're available. But it'd be nice if we kind of like get it done next weekend. I would have some availability for that, but I don't want to make any promises here. It's really just going to depend on player availability. And then we've also still got a little bit of intermediate going on and some side tournament stuff going on as well. So a little bit more Tooth and Tail out there if you're super hungry for it. Jason Blade has been covering that content on his channel. But yeah, I think, unfortunately, y'all, that's all I've got for you today. It's kind of a quick one, but excited to see that we're advancing to the grand finals here. Congratulations to Arilou for those sharp wins against Mishi. And Arilou versus Mishi Arilou versus Melvin Fro grand finals. What do you think, Kerpa? What's your prediction there?
My prediction will be neither will change their decks. And man, it's gonna be a tough one. I think we're gonna. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like Arilou's got the better mid game, but Melvin Fro might have the better ultra late game. So it might depend on who can pace, who can dictate the pace of the game and take it where they want. And as Studios points out in the chat, this is a finals rematch. In 2022 Season 1, Arilou defeated Melvin Fro in the Premier Division. And have they played any other time? I don't think so. Looking at Arilou's won two Premier Divisions already, so he would be going for the triple here.
Or his third, yeah.
I don't think anybody else has won 3. I think Melvin might have won 2. No,
I think Melvin has 2.
Yeah, I think so as well.
What about Gentleman?
The Gentleman has won 1. He came in second. Yeah, Melvin has a Premier win and an intermediate win. So, if Arilou takes this, I think that will make Arilou the most winning player of Tooth and Tail ever, I suppose. But anywho, guys,
we shall see.
Short stream today, apologies. But it was fun. Congratulations, Arilou. Let's try to get this grand finals set up. Keep me posted. It should be Urban Olive and myself casting that. Yeah. No, Melvin has 1 Premier win and 1 intermediate win. But anyways, guys, super fun. Take care. We'll catch you next time.
See